women confuse me sometimes. And I'm almost 70 years old, and I never proclaimed to understand women, okay? I struggle to do my best based on what I learned from women, all right? I can't understand why a woman would meet and greet and be with a man and or marry a man and have that man beat her and abuse her, but yet can come back in the third breath from then and say, well, he just has problems. He does love me. What's happening to our women who will tolerate that kind of abuse and stay with the man in the name of love?
Wow.
That's a good one.
That's a banger. But I'd like to take it back a step farther, because every 9 seconds, an unwed mother or teenager is beaten by their lover.
Absolutely.
It starts with the young ladies that are in high school, even some middle schoolers. It's not just what they see at home or at school, it's generational. Many times I've discovered women are not just happily married, they're happy to be with a man by whatever means necessary. I'd like to share just a snippet of my personal background. I was of the mindset that when I was going through a domestic violent marriage, that this man would change, and perhaps I could be the one to help change him, because he came from an abusive mother, an alcoholic mother, and that was all that he saw. And many times what we see is what we become. With him, I looked at him, and after I began to do my own personal diagnosis of him, I said, this man does not understand love. He possesses no virtue of love. He didn't grow up with love. Therefore, this is an unloving man. This is a man that is possessing self-hate, self-anger. And in order to protect myself and our son, the best I could do was help him from a distance. And I pointed out to him on many occasions that true love doesn't hurt. True love feels good. True love is to the bone.
Absolutely.
And his take on it was, people treat you like Princess Di, but I'm not. And I thought, if anybody should have treated me like that, my husband should have.
When you walk through over the threshold of your door at home, that's supposed to be some safety and happiness and love.
That's sacred to me.
Absolutely.
And I am justifiably proud to say that even though God gives us many degrees, I'm thankful for the degree of common sense. And a lot of our women don't have common sense. Our women equate sometimes being abused with love. He loves me. Or he can't afford flowers, but then you get flowers on your graveside and then it's too late. I tell women that it's one time is too many, because usually if he does it once, he'll do it again, and it becomes a vicious cycle, because men don't feel that many times they're in control, they feel powerless. So since I can't run it on Mr. Gilmore's job, I'm gonna run this. I don't care how short or how tall he is. They're suffering from problems that are deeply rooted. You take one half problem and another half problem, you got a whole mess.
Absolutely.
And in our marriage, which I'm very happy to say, we don't compete, we complete each other. And I believe that is where the difference with a lot of my sisters are. They feel that if they are making more money than the man, to make him feel like he's the man, he has to do a little Mike Tyson every now and then, until they realize that you've got to reach out and touch, and that's not what time it is. You've got to have your own self-worth, which comes as a result of your self-confidence, your self-belief, and your self-esteem. I said in a recent speech, just because that man walks out doesn't mean that your self-esteem has to walk out. You hold on to that like you do your dignity. But we have a lot of women that are wearing the sign, desperate, across the forehead. Any man will do, when in actuality, he won't do.
Exactly what was it that caused you to say, I'm getting the hell out of here?
Plain and simple. Love and romance without finance just don't cut the mustard. When I realized here I was with a child who was born prematurely, had astronomical major medical complications, and I could not call on this man who I took the vows with publicly to help sustain me, I had to discover that I could do bad all by my sweet lonesome. So it wasn't a situation of where I said, I'm going to stay here forever and I'm going to protect my son. The biggest detriment that I could see personally is and was, here is a young male who doesn't altogether know what's going on. So his acting out began to roll over into what was happening in the psychological. And I tell him every day, one of the biggest disservices your biological father could have done, he was so busy trying to physically abuse me, he didn't know how to discipline you. But I learned quick how to reach out and touch a brother.
Now,